enjoying the beautiful, beautiful weather today because we seem to have a light attendance, but it's not so terrible. Welcome to the Town of Islip August Town Board meeting. And before we begin, I would ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by our town attorney, Mike Walsh. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As we begin our town board meeting, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on the extraordinary character of our community. Time and time again, we witness the heroic efforts of our town's residents and members who step up in times of crisis to help their neighbors. Today, we have the privilege of honoring two groups of remarkable individuals who exemplify the spirit of courage, quick thinking, and neighborly concern that make our town such a special place for all of us to live. First up, on the evening of Tuesday, July 16th, brothers Ryan, Jack, and Liam Talley, and I'm going to ask those three gentlemen to come forward. And also, I'm going to ask their councilman from East Islip District to join us, and that's Councilman Jim O'Connor. They were playing ball in their yard when they noticed flames coming from a neighbor's house. Demonstrating remarkable presence of mind, Ryan climbed a playset to confirm the observation and immediately instructed his brothers to alert their parents. As the Talley family rushed to inform their neighbors of the danger, they encountered Tom O'Shea, a retired FDNY firefighter with over 41 years of service. Without hesitation, Mr. O'Shea, who unfortunately could not be with us today, he grabbed a garden hose, used a ladder to access the roof, and began fighting the fire, which had originated from an attic fan. Thanks to the quick response, the fire was quickly extinguished by the time, well, almost extinguished by the time the Brentwood Fire Department arrived on the scene. The Brentwood homeowners were unaware of the fire until alerted by their neighbors. And thanks to the swift actions of the Talley family, Mr. O'Shea, and the prompt response of our local fire department, the house suffered only limited damage, allowing the neighbors to remain in their home. You know, the Talley name is not unfamiliar to us here in the town of Islip because George Talley, and is that a relation of yours? That was your grandfather? Yes. George was just such an incredible member of the community. He was a member of the Brentwood Board of Education. He cared so much about the kids, not just in the hamlet of Brentwood, but of course the town of Islip and Long Island for that matter. So it's not a surprise to me that those Talley community service genes are flowing in your veins. So we thank you. This incident highlights the crucial role that alert and caring neighbors play in the community's safety. The quick thinking of these three brothers, their neighbor, as well as the efficient response of the Brentwood Fire Department, all contributed to averting what could have been otherwise a tragic loss. So join us in recognizing and thanking Ryan, Jack, and Liam Talley for their heroic actions and service to our community. These heroes. You look very excited. Okay, so the heroic efforts of our town's members do not stop here. This month, we also have the privilege of recognizing a group of Town of Islip lifeguards who facilitated the rescue of young sailors in distress off Islip Beach. On Thursday, August 5th, lifeguards stationed at the Islip Beach observed a sunfish sailboat in distress in the bay waters just off the swimming area. Chief Lifeguard Dan Geschwin, Dan, why don't you join us? Quickly assessed the situation and deployed rookie lifeguards, Caden Tierney and Teague Nolan. Gentlemen, join us. Both 16 years old, to aid the young sailors as their vessel capsized. I'm also going to invite Mark Taramiana, who coordinates the lifeguard program for us in the town of Islip, to please join us. Caden proceeded into the water on kayak while Teague used a rescue board to reach the distressed sailors. Chief Geschwin's decision to deploy Caden and Teague was based on their exceptional performance during regular training exercises in which they have actively participated throughout the season. Caden, an Islip native, had recently completed our town waterfront lifeguard course earlier this summer, demonstrating his commitment to serving our community. Teague, hailing from West Islip, comes from a family dedicated to water safety, being the youngest of 3 siblings who all work as Town of Islip lifeguards. Thanks to their combined quick actions and skilled response, the young sailors were safely rescued. This incident highlights our lifeguards' readiness to respond to water emergencies, and it also serves as a reminder of water activities' unpredictable nature and the vital role our lifeguards play ensuring the safety of all of our beachgoers. So please join us in recognizing Chief Lifeguard Dan Geschwin, Lifeguard Caden Tierney, and Lifeguard T. Nolan. Commissioner Tom Owens and the entire team. We have a few announcements before we start our meeting today. Our summer splash pool party at Roberto Clemente Park had to be rescheduled because of the weather, but it will be held on Thursday, August 15th from 3 to 6. All kinds of activities, hot dogs, music, and much more. Admission is free. We also continue with our Islip Summer Fun Series, movie nights every Monday and concerts in the park every Wednesday. And we rescheduled because of weather and have a makeup date at Brookwood Hall for our classic rock band Wonder Stories on Wednesday, August 27th. Also on Wednesday, the 21st of August at Casamento, we have music and astronomy under the stars with tunes from Leonard Skinner Tribute Band, Freebird, food trucks, etc., and also a lecture by Dr. Donald Lubowich on going to guide everybody through telescopic views of the moon, Saturn, and Venus. Don't forget, we just ask everyone to please, if they could, participate in our back to school supply drive. We're once again collecting donations to help those in need, and they can be donated and left here at Town Hall or on the first floor lobby at 401 Main Street. On Wednesday, September 4th at 4, we launch our Islip Goes Purple a month-long campaign to stand united in memory of the lives lost, those in recovery, and those struggling with substance abuse disorder. We'll kick it off with our color fun run around Town Hall, followed by the ceremonial lighting of the cupola purple. Lastly, we're pleased to announce the 6th annual Sea Fest to be held at the Bayshore Marina on Saturday, September 7th from 12 to 6 p.m. All kinds of great food, activities, entertainment, and so much more while enjoying the beautiful Great South Bay. Hope to see everybody there. Thank you so much.
Sure, Madam Supervisor. Item number 1 is to transfer of properties located at 75 Amityville Street, Islip Terrace, from the Town of Islip Community Development Agency under the CDA's Rent with Option to Buy Affordable Housing Program.
Questions on this hearing? Hearing none, motion?
I can't make this motion. I have to recuse myself.
Okay. So,
Motion to close the public hearing and adopt the
negative.
item for resolution.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed?
One recuse.
And one recusal. 4 in favor, 1 recusal. It is approved. Next,
Item number 2 is to consider amending the Town of Islip Uniform Traffic Code.
are there any questions or comments on this particular public hearing? Hearing none, motion?
Motion to close the public hearing, offer the resolution for its adoption.
We have a motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 3, hearing 3.
To consider amending the Islip Town Code, Chapter 68, Section 68-457, entitled Moratorium on Development of Battery Energy Storage Systems.
We have no cards that have been filled out to speak on this. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion to close the public hearing, offer the resolution for its adoption.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 4,
To consider amending Chapter 68 of the Town of Islip Zoning Code, Sections 68-385, 68-649, and 68-650.
thank you, Madam Clerk. We do have a card. Someone has chosen to speak on this particular hearing. Frida Petrosini. Just come forward, please.
Good afternoon. I just read on the website about your decision to put into writing the illegality of people renting their pools out for money. I came here on June 2023 and spoke about the problem that's been occurring with the Swimply application where people are making money and renting out their backyards to the, detriment of the neighbors that have to put up with all the parties. This year it was really out of hand. They don't just do it on the weekends anymore. Every day there's a party. And sometimes twice a day, there'll be a 14th birthday party in the day. And then they leave at 6, and then 7:30, a new group comes in till 10:30 at night, music blaring. I think the code says 11 PM, where you really can't call the cops or anything. And I understand you were working on wording. I'm not going to be long. I understand that this wording, it says you're considering amending. When does it get amended, and when would it be effective? Because it does appear that you did change the wording, and I applaud you for that. So I'm changing everything that I was going to speak about, and to say thank you, especially you, Mr. Lorenzo, because your office has been most instrumental in it. I've been contacting, like you told me to contact attorneys. It's been going on for a year. I've been writing. You wouldn't believe the videos I got of the people next door, strangers, just carloads of people, like uploading, changing neighborhoods. It's like, nobody asked you to be here. I don't even know who you are. Dangerous. And all of a sudden you start hearing about all these burglaries, everybody on, I don't know who they are. I know who my neighbors are, and I know who, when they want to have a block party, a party. Everybody has one. You have a lot, you get your DJ, but not every single day, every single weekend. So thank you. If this does go into wording, I just want to know, like, when it is effective.
Well, we had, the process took place, we advertised a public hearing. We will be closing the public hearing and offering the resolution for its adoption. And then I guess it gets filed with the Secretary of State, or with a code change, we can just do it immediately. Oh, okay, great. So 2 weeks. But we thank you for bringing it to our attention. Yours is not the only situation, unfortunately.
I know.
But this will allow us to go in there and monitor these situations, issue violations, and hopefully put an end to it. So we thank you very much.
I thank you, and I thank God for you people in control. I mean, I was getting upset with you, but I should have just been patient, and I was just getting impatient. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Frida. Be well. Okay, there are no other cards to speak, so do I have a motion to close the public hearing? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman Guardrano. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The hearing is closed. The resolution is adopted. Thank you. Thank you all who worked on that, too. We will now go to the public portion. We have quite a few cards that have been filled out, people wishing to address the board. You have 3 minutes to speak. Again, this is not a question and answer session. If you have issues or concerns to bring forward, commissioners are in the audience. They will step outside with you if you have a specific issue that they can address. So we'll start with our first speaker, Jim Schlau.
Hi, Jim Slough, 415 Cliff Street, since 1968. This here, on the board proves yearly parking passes for residents. They certainly don't need any passes to park on the sidewalks. I want you to see this. This is my reply from the U.S. Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division. Somebody want to take that up? They didn't do anything, but not because they can't. I shouldn't have to be writing and sending them a package of pictures and what it looks like around here. You should be taking care of that. You got cars a block after block on the sidewalks. I know you're bored with me saying this over and over again, but I was handicapped in the 80s with cancer on my leg. I was going to lose my leg. Then it happened again with a spider, and I was going to lose my leg. I had really bad luck. If it was me, I couldn't get around. Who do you go to? Who do I go to after this? I mean, you're supposed to be taking care of this. You're giving out parking passes. Don't pay for the parking passes, people. What are they going to do? They're not doing anything about the overcrowded houses. I spoke to code enforcement about this. One of the head of code enforcement, and they said, well, over by First Street and such in Brightside. Well, that development was built in the 40s. What does that have to do with parking on the sidewalks? These are still single-family houses, you know. No answer. Of course, I'm not going to get an answer. And you don't park, if you can't live there and put a car in the driveway, and you got so many people living in a house that you got to park on the sidewalk, something's wrong. And it's like this all over the place. I don't know why you're not doing anything. And you cut the speaking portion out. I can't see it. I would like to know what my neighbors are thinking. Just like years ago, when that guy came up here from Brentwood, and I saw him complaining about the loud music, which we still have, but it's getting it slightly under control. I get it till 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning. Imagine that. 4 in the morning, 4 o'clock, not 4 in the afternoon. Okay. And he spoke, and I says, hallelujah, because the cops used to come over and say, you're the only one complaining and we can't do anything. Now they're starting to do stuff. We got it bad over there. And Carlton Park, you know who lived in Carlton Park? I'll show you who, because you spoke bad about Carlton Park. It had its problems. But guess who lived there? You took his house away. You had your reasons. That was, I can't remember his name. He's a white guy. His parents' house burnt down. Walker. You remember that name? I know him for years, and now I can't remember his name. I'm probably getting demented. Au revoir.
Ciao. Next speaker, Pat Montanino.
At Montanino. I'm just going to come out and speak, whatever. I can't write this down. It's too much. But Jake's 58 is suing the town of Islip because the town of Islip wants them to pay $1 million a year in property taxes. And they're complaining because the hotel shouldn't be parked. It's all government owned. Now, with that being said, the person that funneled money into the supervisor's campaign and several other council members, I think you should all be ashamed of yourselves for approving him over and over and taking you, Ms. Carpenter, over $100,000 from him. I call that a bribe because he was fined by the federal government. All the apartments he's building are made so that handicapped people cannot move in there. He made sure of it. Then we've got Good Samaritan Hospital. I see that you're helping them buy up houses behind their hospital over by the water. Nobody's paying any taxes. No taxes. They're up to over 5 houses. There's all the stuff from Riverhead. Then you've got in Bay Shore, you're helping a gentleman build an apartment complex in the water, mind you. You're saying that his address doesn't exist, but then he's not paying any taxes because he's been flip-flopping the property back and forth so that he doesn't have to pay any taxes. Well, the rest of us, we're working our butts off to pay taxes here. This is not a pick and choose project. Everyone should be paying their fair share. And then you've got an building that's being used for offices, big complex, but yet Southside, Good Samaritan has a few offices in there. They're the only ones that don't have to pay taxes. All the other offices in that building, they have to pay taxes. I don't see an emergency room in that building. I don't see an emergency room in those 5 houses that are in the back by the water. They're getting some shot. There had to be over 10 cars in one of the driveways there. So now you're letting it become, I don't know, a house of ill repute, a house of just lay down and sleep. I don't know,
Thank you,
but
Pat.
we pay our taxes.
Thank you.
They don't.
Next speaker, David Kennedy.
we're together speaking on the same, on behalf of the same thing. I'm gonna let my wife speak.
So my name is Bethany Kennedy. This is my husband, David Kennedy. We have several members from our community here. I spoke to Mr. Walsh yesterday and Councilman O'Connor today. And I thank you for your prompt response to a long-standing problem that dates back prior to 2012, although the documents show 2012. We have an infestation, a house that's neighbors. Mr. Calandra, he's right next to him, we're across the street, that we have complained year after year to code enforcement, the Department of Health. We've done vector control and gotten nowhere. In fact, all that's been happened is the accumulation of trash and now a rat infestation in our neighborhood. Mr. Walsh has a plan of attempting to go to the county Supreme Court, which we're hoping will work so that we can gain access however may be, because he's been cited so many times over and over and over again and does nothing. He continues to bury his yard. There's decaying trash in the back. There's a nauseous smell that comes from it. We're pleading to the town to help us in this instance, to clear this up. And even beyond that, to help other people who are in this situation that have waited years upon years and their property value decreasing with their taxes increasing for similar situations. So I don't know, Mr. Calandra, would you like to say something?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Frank Calandra. I'm an Islip resident, 57 years. My neighbor is a hoarder, and he's been my neighbor, I guess, over 30 years. Now, we've agonized every year with, the conditions in this house, and it's just gotten to the point where now it's serious as a health hazard. The Board of Health was there today. They couldn't even access his front door because of 3 cars loaded up onto the driveway, surrounded by garbage pails and other debris that he brings home. It's unbelievable what he chooses to bring to his property, but he doesn't miss a trick. He'll pick up anything, and it all comes to our house or our neighbors. Last week, my son participated in helping alert everyone that there are now rats, very evident. I was looking out the window the other day, and the birds from our bird feeder fluttered away, and I was wondering what was going on. And then I have a photo, a movie of a rat walking towards the bird feeder, scared them, So at any rate, there's been other sightings of of rats, and so it's gotten to the point where it's really a horror. Now the standing water was taken care of the other day as far as they could go. They couldn't get to the back door, the backyard where there's a lot more debris.
For many years.
Oh, sorry.
A sunken pool for many years.
Okay. So anyway, we've been told today from the Board of Health that they're going to have to remove the cars from the driveway so they can access the front door. Now, he doesn't access his front door. He's got a path that goes through the bushes, through the little piles of leaves, and he gets to his back door, I guess, I've never tried to follow that path, but last week, Aldo, a code enforcer, knocked on the door. He went by the path and so on, and he got to the front door, smelled a lot of bad odors there, knocked, saw the individual peeking through a Venetian blind. And so he alerted his boss, I guess, chief of code enforcement, and it just seems like we're elevating this to a definite health hazard situation.
Uh,
So
You're
that's
very
our
right in
case.
saying that, Frank. It's certainly, I know that Councilman O'Connor's office has been working very closely. The councilman's been working on it with the town attorney. Mr. Walsh, if you would just give them a very brief update on where we are with that legally so they can understand what's happening, that we are moving. This is a unique.
Learning how to get a certified copy of the last deed of record, but this case has, I haven't dove too far into it, but clearly there's a lot of moving parts and issues. But we're going to go to court. I need to go to a bigger court that has more power, and we'll get after it. Hopefully I'll be in court by the end of the week, but I don't know.
Thank you very much.
We
Thank you all
appreciate
for,
it very much.
for coming down and your patience.
Sorry.
Thank you.
One more thing, there's also, I know the lantern flies, which seem to be an issue now. They're everywhere. And in some of the photos that we've provided to, you can see they're all over his trees in the backyard. They're showing up in everyone's
And they're killing our
neighborhoods
vegetation
and
around.
yeah. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next speaker, Andreas Schillet. I apologize if I mispronounced that.
I actually didn't know that I was going to be a speaker. I came today thinking that I was going to have a meeting with the code enforcement people about alleged violations at my property. But this will provide me an opportunity to address something that I'm quite concerned about. The violation that I got, or the two violations, May 22nd, two letters that I got forwarded to me in Massachusetts, because I'm now taking care of my 99-year-old mother, stated long grass, and it stated something about a non-registered vehicle. The vehicle was registered, it is registered, but in any case, as far as the long grass is concerned, the person who complained, and I don't know for sure, but I know that the person who has continually over the years, and I've owned the property for 36 years now, he has expressed during the time that I've been taking care of my mother out of state, his great concern about the front of my property. And the front of my property, interestingly enough, is not my property. It belongs to the town of Islip. It's on Motor Parkway, but it's easement land. And therefore, when I'm out of town, because I'm taking care of my mother, and the grass gets a little bit long, he's, blowing up my phone, complaining. And interestingly, it's only a 10-minute lawn mow job. And rather than do it, and I've never asked him to do so. He'd rather gnash his teeth and not be able to sleep. So to the extent that I thought I was just going to have an informal meeting with people, I didn't think I'd be speaking to the board. But this provides me an opportunity to ask, is there any way that to the extent I'm not there, in 1 week, for example, every week, to be able to cut the town of Islip easement property grass, which I don't use, by the way. Everybody else on Motor Parkway, because that's the only way they can access their house, they use it for their driveway. They use it for their landscaping. In my case, I'm on the corner of Breeze Ave and Motor Parkway, and my access is through Breeze Avenue. I don't even use that property. I've been mowing the grass for 36 years, but to the extent now it's reached a point where I'm being, confronted by the town attorney, it's a pretty serious situation. And it will impair my ability to properly care for my mother in that, causes us stress, causes us to come down when she might have a medical appointment or something like that. So it would be nice if somebody who's responsible for the property, it's not part of my property line, it's the town of Islip easement property, the town of Islip might come by. I'll do it, as I've done for 36 years, when I'm there. But if it becomes a little longer, so that all of a sudden I start getting complaints, not because of my property, because you can't even see it, I've got high hedges, but because of the front, which everybody can see coming by.
Okay, I think I understand what you're talking about. Code enforcement is here, and I'm sure that someone will reach out to you.
I should stay.
Maybe, maybe step out into the hallway, and someone from code enforcement will go out there and get the information from you. Thank you so much. Next speaker, Harry Penn. Oh, was it?
number 9.
Yes. Good afternoon. Um,
Good afternoon, Mr. Penn. You may begin.
I was, my complaint is, about the rats.
Mr. Penn, could you bring that microphone up a little bit so that we could hear you? Thank you.
The county employee, from the rat control came out and spoke to me, last month. But the picture will show us what we deal with in the neighborhood. The garbage that are accumulating, and the person who owns the vacant lot is the Bright Side Bakery, and that's a picture of his lot. That big that 9 by 10 photo. I took that today. That picture, but the last picture, the smaller picture, is a piece of was taken August the 5th, where the garbage is out there. I went by there today. It was picked up. It wasn't that bad. It was August that I took the pictures of. And the bakery who owned the property is on Bright Side, and the property is on Cinnamon Street, Cinnamon and 111, the vacant lot. That's where the rats are accumulating, and the property is need to be cleaned up because it's a sump hole in there, and the people that come from the church, they come down and eat. They bring their food from the church, and they eat in the vacant lot, and the deli on the other side. He's accumulating. I don't have a picture of that deli, the golden triangle, golden deli, but that's the one that I have apartment upstairs, and they accumulating garbage in that area too. So it's garbage manifest from Bright Side all the way down to Cinnamon. That's where I live, Cinnamon and Tree Avenue, and but it's a nuisance of the property where the property is, and they used to live in there. They took my tent for my car and made an apartment in there. So that's my time limit. Thank you for your.
Thank you, Harry. Next speaker, Doug Snyder.
Hello. 80% of the time in the summer, July and August, the wind comes out of the southwest. And if you have a small boat, it's very difficult to launch boats from any of your marinas because the wind's pretty rough, small boats. My daughter parked her car and trailer in Great River, and they closed the gates on her, which we expected, but they luckily gave her only a warning instead of a ticket for leaving the car overnight. I'm suggesting, I don't know if we could put something in the window stating that the car is going to be there overnight, because that's the calmest water on the South Shore in East Islip that you can launch a boat. It's protected by the lands. So I'm not sure if you could get a pass that you could say to the policeman, hey, the car is going to be overnight, put away your registration is, because we have the sticker for the launch ramp, and she still got a warning. Thank God it was just a warning. But we don't need a $150 ticket because you're staying overnight. We need a place that you can keep the boat overnight in Great River because it's calm. Only because I know East Islip, you can leave it overnight, and so Bayshore Marina. Secondly, I was when I went to talk to them about the ticket this morning, they said that when you have a vehicle that's not affiliated with the trailer, that you'll get a ticket also. I don't know if that's true, but that bothers me because I use the trailer too to go fishing. and my daughter uses it. So we split the boat. So if I'm going to take her car every time I need to use the trailer, it's not fair. So I don't know if that's true, whether you ticket it, if it doesn't match. That should be modified, I think. And sitting here, I was thinking some other things for iSlip. Locust Avenue ball field. You can tell your garbage men, I walk it every morning for exercise. I live over that way. You can tell your garbage men, put the garbage cans all the way on the south side. I watch them, they're lazy. They don't want to bring the truck or bring the garbage pails. So what happens is people just throw their garbage on the south side, right next to that Bosse's. But on the north side where the little house is, there's no garbage. So people just are not going to walk across the field, put garbage cans and put something in there. They just throw it down. I end up trying to pick up as much as I can. That's pretty much it. Just and 2 cars overnight. If we can get something and put a sign, that'd be great. Just in the car, so the cop sees, okay, they're overnight. We know you're going to lock the gate. I understand that. So that's it.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Snyder. I've taken notes on all of your suggestions.
Good notes?
I have took good notes.
Okay, all right.
But also Public Safety, the Commissioner of Public Safety is here. Also, the Parks Commissioner is here. And I'm sure that the suggestions that you've raised today will be discussed and hopefully
Okay.
make some changes.
And enforce your dog walking policies. I know you don't.
Yeah, we try. We do
Try a little
try.
harder.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all of the cards. Do I have a motion to close the public portion? Motion by Councilman McElway. Second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor, opposed, public portion is closed. I thank everyone. And before we proceed to the agenda, I would just like to recognize a longstanding, pretty, I'm not going to say infamous, but pretty well-known journalist that covered the county legislature for many, many years, and that's Rick Brand. Thank you for joining us, Rick. He's a resident of the town of Islip, and we're proud to have you. Okay, the first item on the agenda is the meeting of the Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency. Motion to convene. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? We are convened, a quorum being present. Mr. Walzer.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the agency board. John Walzer, Executive Director, 40 Nassau Avenue, Islip, New York. I have several items for your consideration today. The first item for your consideration is to approve the minutes from the last agency board meeting on July 16th.
Do you have a motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is an inducement resolution between the agency and Albert Kemperly LLC at 5050 Vets Highway in Holbrook. Kemperly is a leading distributor of automotive paint and related products and equipment. The company was founded in Brooklyn in 1940 and has since grown to have over 50 locations throughout the country and Canada. This project involves relocating and expanding the company's corporate headquarters and 3 other Long Island locations into this Islip location. This project represents a $1.7 million capital investment, the retention of 65 jobs with 3 additional jobs for our region.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is also an inducement resolution between the agency and Lessings, Inc. at 3525 Sunrise Highway in Islip Terrace. Lessings Hospitality Group operates over 100 locations throughout the Northeast, including wedding and catering venues, full-service restaurants, and corporate and academic dining centers. This project involves the purchase of 3525 Sunrise Highway, relocating the company's corporate headquarters, conference center, and technology hub. It represents a $3.6 million capital investment, the retention of 34 jobs, with 37 additional jobs promised at this location.
Are there any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Okay, the next item for your consideration is an amended authorizing resolution between the agency and 227 4th Avenue Partners LLC located at 227 4th Avenue in Bayshore. Today's resolution represents a change of ownership from the previously authorized resolution.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor? Oppose? Approve.
And the next item for your consideration is an authorizing resolution for a project induced at last month's meeting. This was the expansion of Asian food manufacturer Wang Foods at 50 Inez Drive in Bay Shore.
Motion by Councilman Guardron, second by Councilman McElroy. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
And the last item I have for your consideration is also an authorizing resolution for a project induced last month. Islandia Property Owners LLC is a regionally significant development project at 1 Computer Associates Plaza in Islandia.
Any questions?
I have some questions.
Councilman O'Connor.
John, I've been reading the paper lately, and I saw that Suffolk County IDA is clawing back some of their benefits that they authorized to the Cannon Corporation, who are relocating the jobs that they promised to keep in Melville to other communities. The IDA has gone back and clawed back benefits they gave to them when they promised to keep the jobs there in Melville. I just read yesterday that another corporation located in Garden City, an aerospace manufacturer of parts in the aerospace industry, again went to Suffolk County IDA requesting IDA benefits. And the corporate parent of this company just announced that they're laying off all of the people at their Long Island locations. And the Suffolk County IDA is pursuing them and trying to claw back IDA benefits given to them. Does our IDA consider clawing back benefits when folks who are in receipt of ISLIP IDA benefits on promises that they're going to retain and expand employees, move those employees out of state, or those jobs never materialize?
Yeah, we have recapture language in all of our closing documents.
And have we ever acted on it?
Yes, we have.
Okay. You'll be hearing from me some more on one of our, the reason why I bring it up with this item is because one of the projects that we authorized was Spec Industrial. I understand the owner at that location is requesting $23 a square foot. They have 0 tenants at this time. And I guess I'll just watch that closely and speak to you in the future about a potential clawback of those IDA benefits.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was the last resolution that we had before us, yes?
Yes.
So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
No, we haven't got a vote on the resolution.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So we have a motion and a second. Did we
No,
have?
no motion by me. I'm voting no.
Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, yes? And second? I'll second the resolution. All those in favor? Opposed?
One opposed.
4 in favor, 1 in opposition. Thank you.
And that's all the business I have for you today.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn the IDA.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman McElroy. All those in favor? Opposed? We stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move then to item 2, which is the town board authorization to clean up or secure certain properties in the town. Jeff, nice to see you.
Good
You
afternoon,
may
Madam
proceed.
Supervisor, members of the town board and the town clerk. My appearance for the record is Jeffrey Panacci, Assistant Town Attorney, 655 Main Street, Islip, New York. I do have 19 matters on for your consideration here today. Number 1, to clean up the premises located at 0 Garden Street in West Islip. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation as well as litter and debris, including abandoned vehicle tires, a rusted 55-gallon drum, and discarded pieces of cement, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman McElroy, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 2, to board up and clean up the premises located at 20 Town Line Road in Hauppauge. On this vacant and unsecured property, which was the location of a structural fire occurring on May 12th of 2024. There now exists open doors and windows located throughout the dwelling, allowing access to its interior, as well as overgrown vegetation and litter and debris, including an unregistered vehicle, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman McElroy. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 3, to board and clean up the premises located at 22 Town Line Road in Hauppauge. on this vacant and unsecured property, which was also the location of a structural fire occurring on May 12, 2024, albeit a smaller one. There now exists missing windows throughout the dwelling, allowing access to its interior, as well as overgrown vegetation and litter and debris, including a discarded mattress, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilman McElroy. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 4, to board and clean up the premises located at 26 Benjamin Street in Bayshore. On this vacant and unsecured property, there previously existed open doors and windows located on both the dwelling and the accessory structure, allowing access to the interior, as well as overgrown vegetation. It does appear at this point that some recent progress has been made at the property. However, there still exists litter and debris, including a wooden deck in a state of disrepair, colored plastic bags, corrugated piping, tree stumps, and cement blocks, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with the property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman Quadrone, second by Councilman McElroy. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 5 has been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. Number 6, to clean up the premises located at 45 Forbes Street in Oakdale. On this vacant property, there previously existed overgrown vegetation. Once again, it appears some progress has been made recently. However, there still exists litter and debris, including a decaying wood ladder, discarded vehicle tires and random parts, discarded fencing, and a rusted tool cabinet, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman McElroy. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 7, to board and clean up the premises located at 52 St. Mark's Lane in Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists open doors on both the dwelling and an accessory structure, allowing interior access, an incomplete protective barrier around the in-ground swimming pool, overgrown vegetation and litter and debris, including discarded plywood, propane tanks, broken tiles, and a jacuzzi tub containing stagnant water and sediment, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo. I'll second that motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 8, to board and clean up the premises located at 59 Irish Lane in East Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an open door on an accessory structure, allowing interior access to that structure, as well as overgrown vegetation and litter and debris, including a boat, a Ford pickup truck in a state of disrepair, construction debris, various discarded household items, buckets and bags, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman. Okay, you can speak to the town attorney after this. Okay. Well, we're going to act on it, but you'll have time to comply and speak to the town attorney. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilman McElroy. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 9 has been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. Number 10, to clean up the premises located at 160 Main Street in Sayville. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation as well as litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises, just so the board is aware with respect to this address. We did receive an affidavit of compliance earlier today from one of our code enforcement investigators who went to the property within the last day to make observations. However, based on what we observed in the pictures, we are still presenting the property to the board for a vote today. And of course, if the board does take action against this property and our DPW representatives do go there and it is sufficiently clean, they will take no action and there will be no cost associated with it.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second.
Second.
By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 11, to board and clean up the premises located at 188 Officials Avenue in Holbrook. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists a decaying roof on the dwelling, open doors on an accessory structure allowing access to its interior, as well as litter and debris, including broken garbage cans, discarded wood boards, a tarp, a fish tank, and a 55-gallon drum, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 12 has been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. Number 13, to board and clean up the premises located at 523 Gillette Avenue in Bayport. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exist holes in the doors of the detached garage, allowing access to its interior, as well as litter and debris, including garbage bags, discarded pieces of wood, an unregistered vehicle, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Number 14 has been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. Number 15, to clean up the premises located at 882 Union Boulevard in West Islip. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation and litter and debris, including plastic containers, garbage cans, wood planks, a propane tank, and discarded ceiling tiles, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 16 has been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. Number 17 has been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. Number 18 has also been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. And finally, number 19, to board and clean up the premises located at 2322 Motor Parkway in Ronkonkoma. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an open window on the dwelling, allowing access to its interior, as well as litter and debris, including discarded tarps, wood boards in a state of decay, damaged garbage cans, and scaffolding, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with property interest in this premises.
Any questions?
Jeff,
Councilman.
Mr. Andreas Schillet, who signed up to speak at our public comment portion of today's meeting, addressed this particular property and some easement that he thought was adjacent to the roadway, which I think everybody has a town right-of-way adjacent to their property that they're required to maintain, but most property owners do. Did you have a chance to speak to Mr. Schillet in the hall?
I spoke with him over the phone prior to the meeting, immediately prior to the
You
meeting.
spoke to him today,
I did today, yes.
and you laid out for him what we're doing today.
I laid out for him that it was the board's decision. I did also express to him that I know that they did make some progress, with regard to the grass, but there were existing issues at the property. I went over those issues with him to give him an understanding of those issues.
So if the board acts today, the cleanup of the property isn't going to occur tomorrow morning. He's got some time to address the other issues that are shown in the pictures that are presented to this board to clean up this property, correct?
Yes, that
You
is correct.
Explain that to him.
I did explain that to him.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
And that's all I
That's it,
have.
Jeff.
Thank you.
Very much. Appreciate it. We will move to item 3, the appropriation transfers. Are there any questions? Hearing none, motion? Motion by Councilman Quadrone, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 4, the bid awards. Any questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 5, the option year resolutions. There are 2 of them. Any questions? Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guadrone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 6, Town Board acceptance of the dedication and maintenance of Elm Court in Sayville. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 7, authorization to supervise to execute any and all documents from the U.S. Department of Energy in connection with the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program to improve energy efficacy within the town of Islip. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 8, authorization with the supervisor to request and accept funding from the National Grid for the paving, restoration of certain roads in West Islip as part of its 2024 West Islip Gas Main Replacement Project. Any questions?
Just
Hearing none.
One question, do we
Sure.
know, because I had gotten constituent calls about this, will this paving get done this year?
If doable, it will.
Yeah, the residents are just concerned that,
Yep.
the PSE&G or the National Grid's patch jobs were done poorly, and they're worried about the roads getting worse in the.
Well, we got
winter season.
$189,000 to fix up.
Yep, so I just wanted to see if it was possible for this year.
Okay.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guadrone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 9, the appointment of Gina Cacaperto as a member of the Islip Town Environmental Council Board. Any questions? Motion? A motion by Councilman O'Connor. I'll second that. All in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 10, authorization for supervisor to execute an amendment of lease between the Town of Islip and the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority for property in the Foreign Trade Zone until August 21, 2064. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 11, meeting of the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority Board. Mr. Hemingway, the board
Motion to
meeting is
convene.
convened. Motion by Councilman O'Connor. I'll second that. All those in favor? Opposed? We are convened, a quorum being present. You may begin.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the Foreign Trade Zone Board. Brad Hemingway, and I am the Executive Director of the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority, located in Ronkonkoma, New York. Just 3 items for your attention today, or consideration, I should say. First is approval of the minutes from June 11th, 2024, meeting of the Islip Foreign Trade Zone Board.
On the minutes, do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guadrone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Second item is authorization for the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority to extend 12 land leases with the Town of Islip to August 31st, 2064, for the purpose of extending subleases.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Next item is authorization for the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority Executive Director to execute assignment, extension, and assumption of sublease with AVGI LLC for property located in the Foreign Trade Zone known as 51 Roebling Court, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779, also known as Parcel 9.
Are there any questions? Councilman O'Connor.
Thank you. Brad, I'm sorry if you responded already. I'll lead with my chin. I'm not quite sure if you did. So I had asked Will Garbarino, who briefed me on Friday. There seems to be a number of assignments of this particular lease over a course of a number of years. My understanding of the foreign trade zone is that the use of the property has to be consistent with the missions established within the foreign trade zone, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
There are some restrictions and guidelines set forth by the Foreign Trade Zone Board that we need to adhere to.
Okay.
And of course, we always try to encourage import-export in there to utilize the benefits, but they are privately managed properties. So we kind of lose control over, at the end of the day, who's going to actually be a tenant. We do get a look, and if they fall within the guidelines of the trade zone, their assignments sometimes.
Well, my question was really just a simple one, and I apologize if you've already answered it by email and I haven't seen it. What is AVGLI in the business of doing, and is it consistent with?
AVGI is a landlord.
And the
They're an
tenant,
investor coming in to
and they're
purchase the building,
assuming
have
an
tenants.
existing lease.
Correct.
And
They're
what is it?
existing tenants and they're assuming those leases.
Okay. And the existing tenants are consistent with all the rules that they have to follow as it relates to leasing property within the foreign trade zone.
Yes, and it aligns with the way that the buildings are set up. We have, let's say, 14 buildings presently. Some of them are owner occupied. Many of them are landlord situations, that they're a property management company and they're working with multi-tenants.
Just so I'm want to make certain that I'm not crazy. Was this issue communicated to you on Friday after my briefing? Because I asked that it be.
I've been out of town. I just got back today.
All right.
So it was not communicated to me.
All right.
Now,
So we'll
it may
work on
have been. I didn't see an email.
We'll work on that. We'll work
Unless
on
there
that.
was, some
You didn't see it
post-grad
and
that
I didn't
I
see it.
missed.
So probably neither, it doesn't
I
exist,
didn't get it,
probably.
yes.
Because neither one of us
But
saw
you
it.
can always call
But
me.
I
if you
did
have a-
ask for it during the briefing.
You
So
can
we'll
always,
work.
if you
we'll
have a
work on it.
question, please reach out to me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Any
I
other
have no further
questions?
items.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman McElroy. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn the Foreign Trade Zone Board. You'll make the motion?
Second.
Okay, we got it. Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman McElroy. The board stands adjourned, and we will move now to item 12. Authorization for supervisors to sign any and all necessary documents required for the DASNY SAM grant funding project 9582 for improvements to downtown Holbrook. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman McElroy. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 13, authorization supervisor to sign any and all necessary documents required for the DASNY SAM grant funding project 6993 for recommended improvements in Holbrook. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman McElroy. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 14, authorization for supervisor to sign any and all necessary documents to participate in round 14 of the Suffolk County Revitalization Program for improvements in the hamlet of East Islip. Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guadron. Hearing no other comments, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. We will go to item 15, the reappointment of Alessandro Bologna as the Fair Harbor Dock Master. Any questions? Motion by Councilman McElroy, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 16, authorization of town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider enacting a local law 2024 in connection with Chapter 47H entitled Taxation Exemption for Volunteer Firefighter and Ambulance Workers. Any question? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 17, authorization for supervisor to enter into several agreements for programs or events to be held throughout the town of Islip. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman McElroy. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 18, authorization for town clerk to advertise for public hearing in connection with the JetBlue Airways Corporation airline use and lease agreement at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? I'll make that motion. Second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 19, authorization for supervisor to execute a contract with Simbrant Aviation Services for contract DAT 2023-002, maintenance and repair of baggage belts at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 20, authorization for supervisor to execute all documents necessary for change order number 2 with J. Anthony Enterprises, Inc. for general contracting services. Any questions? Hearing none, motion? Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 21, authorization for supervisor to execute a first amendment to the agreement with Synergy LLC for the purposes of providing consulting services to the Department of Aviation and Transportation. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second. Second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 22, authorization supervisor to execute an amendment to the professional services agreement with Arcadis, Inc. for ongoing environmental services at the airport. Any questions? Motion? I'll make that motion. Second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 23, Town Board approval to ensure that the current base proportion of either the homestead or non-homestead class does not exceed the adjusted base proportion of the immediately preceding year by 1% in accordance with real property tax law, Section 1903, and the Town of Islip Local Law Number 3 of 1982. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 24, authorization for the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to consider amending the Town of Islip Uniform Traffic Code. Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 25, the special events. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 26, authorization for the supervisor to execute any and all documentation required to accept the Jump Start funding project for bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure improvements in the hamlet of Bay Shore. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 27, authorization supervisor to execute any and all documentation required to accept the Jump Start funding project for upgrades and enhancement of the Central Islip Recreation Village. Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 28, Town Board approval to allot an additional $4 million to be used in the Small Business and Nonprofit Harper Grant Program. Are there any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 29, Town Board approval to provide a procedure to establish the agenda for regularly scheduled Town Board meetings. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 30, authorization for supervisor to enter into a license agreement with Suffolk Regional OTB for the non-exclusive use of the municipal parking lot located at 0 Expressway Drive North in Islandia. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. There are no other items to come before us. Motion to adjourn, second by Councilman O'Connor. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of this lovely summer month.